Having a bass gets it on online, which he usually does. He loves bowling in England, doesn't he? I mean, they especially this first test. I think if England get off to a slow start, which I think they're more than capable of getting off to a slow start.
So hopefully, I mean, there were some good aspects to the baseball, kind of a principle and approach, but what it lacked was that finesse and intelligence. So hopefully, we're going to start to see that halfway house.
And Dan Lawrence, yeah, I mean, I felt so sorry for him having to open against Sri Lanka in that last series he played. He's just simply not an opener, is he? So, hello guys, here's our preview for the England v Pakistan Test series, which begins at Headingley this Wednesday. So, Kat, at the start of the summer, I think we'd have expected, us, as England fans, to beat Pakistan quite convincingly, but a lot's changed over these few weeks, which we've talked about on this channel. It's a new old captain for this series in Joe Root, similar to Pakistan actually. Babar Azam, he's back as skipper. Did the 2 games in the West Indies, but he's back as skipper again. And this series, well, I don't know about you, mate. It's a bit harder to call than it would have been a few weeks ago, eh?
Yeah, it's the aspect of this is kind of like someone's jumped in the time machine back to 2022 or something like that. It was like two superstar batters, who gave up the captaincy and now been reappointed, and just so it's a little bit of a strange one in that respect. But yeah, it's I mean, West Indies. Sorry, the Pakistan just come from a tour of West Indies, so they won their last test, so a little bit buoyant, but yeah, it should be an interesting series. Kind of start of a new but old but still new era for both teams. So yeah, it should be a lot of interesting kind of battles and subtext there as well. Kind of like lots of places to play for, and so yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't know what to make of it really because I know it's a cliche about Pakistan, but they're a very mercurial team, but and unpredictable. But on the pitch, they've lost a lot of Test matches the last couple of years, so they actually have been quite predictably predictable. They've
Yeah,
predictably lost, but as you say, they drew the 2 Test series in the West Indies 1-1. They beat the was it County Select 11 in their warm-up game last week, so they're coming to this series with a bit of form and yeah, with England, it's obviously Joe Root's back as a full-time skipper again, and Stephen Fleming's the new coach, but he won't be taking part officially until a South Africa series. So Marcus Juskovic is interim, and a lot of our players have played the 100. They've played 100 ball cricket the last month. No championship cricket, obviously, and the only one who's played anything more than that is Emilio Gay in the Metro Bank for Durham, and then he played in the county game. One to forget for him, sadly. Hopefully, he got his ducks out of the way for this series because he got a pair. So I mean, talk about great great form going into the into a Test series. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Joe Real. Obviously, we mentioned talked about him a lot in the last video. But what are you expecting from him and the side? Because obviously this sort of style of play has been talked about. Something that NASA was saying, mentioned in Sky Cricket in their preview. Just play the game. Don't worry about uh, a style of play or whatever. I think from what Joe said with Mike Atherton last week, I think that's going to happen. He obviously got rid of that silly curfew, thankfully, and so that's a good decision straight away. But yeah, what do you make of how do you think we'll play England? Because I think we tried to change it the first couple of tests against New Zealand and then reverted to type in that frantic sort of fourth day in the third test at Trent Bridge when Stokes opened the batting. So what are you expecting from Joe's 2.0 side for this series?
I mean, if you look at the end of his previous captaincy stint, it's kind of like it was a fairly kind of very old school, very conservative approach, especially with the bat. So it's kind of like looking to kind of bat time and kind of put overs into the legs of bowlers and that kind of thing. And then you had that kind of overcorrection to like the Bazball era. And so hopefully now what we'll see is somewhere approaching a middle ground between the two. So hopefully I mean, there were some good aspects to the Bazball kind of a principle and approach, but what it lacked was that finesse and intelligence. So hopefully we're going to start to see that halfway house. So um, and this time around, hopefully Root is going to have less off-field distractions to deal with this time around. So if everything that happened during his previous tenure, the Stokes incident in Bristol, COVID, the whole focus on white ball cricket and all that kind of thing. So it looks like he's hopefully going to be more of his own man this time and kind of have more of the playing resources at his disposal and be more of a focus on his team. So that's hopefully that should kind of create a greater focus and bring a more kind of bring more clarity to the Red Bull side. So it's I mean, the team probably hasn't changed too much. There's been a couple of changes, some enforced, some not. So mainly enforced in ways, I would say. Whether that evolves into that kind of change of approach, but I think players in there you'd think they'd be smart enough to kind of hear the message which the public has been giving to them, which you'd hope that the coaching staff and the leadership will be taking on. To say that although Fleming isn't involved officially in this team, in this series, you hope that you'd assume that he's had some input, but it seems like he has in terms of selection processes and things like and so forth.
Yeah, for sure.
So so you would hope that he's kind of having some input into kind of what kind of approach they want to take on the field. Um, so you'd hope you kind of start to see him kind of gravitate towards that middle ground between Bazball and Route 1.0 era. So, and you just want to see him play with a bit of intelligence. That's all. A few game smarts and kind of being able to judge a situation in front of them. I think that's all what the public want to see. Is like
Yeah, it's what we want from any cricket team, mate. Eh?
Exactly. So it's you hope that there was going to be some sort of evolution here. So some of the players they've picked, they're still kind of tying a little bit to that Bazball philosophy. So you look at the likes of Jordan Cox and Dan Lawrence who are coming into the team. They're still aggressive players by nature, but have kind of have a firm grounding in the first class game as well. Um, so yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, let's touch on the obviously the squad. I mean, it's an inflated
Yeah,
squad that England have picked.
yeah,
Is it 16 names? Is it? But what we do know, as you rightly said, is Jordan Cox is going to get his chance at number three. Dan Lawrence back in the team after what 2 years? Is it? He's going to be batting at number six. Yeah, well, what do you make of those selections? I mean, it's a big opportunity for both of them. Jordan Cox. Ironic, and isn't it? He's replacing Jacob Bethel, who was injured, and obviously Bethel wouldn't have played that New Zealand series if Cox didn't get injured in the nets, and and now Bethel's injured for obviously this series, so Cox is in. So he's got a great chance, and Dan Lawrence, yeah, I felt so sorry for him having to open against Sri Lanka in that last series he played. He's simply just not an opener, is he? So felt really
yeah,
sorry for him, but he's had a great season for an under-par Surrey team, and he's been there. Obviously, with the flat pitches at the Oval, he's been their number one spinner as well. So he's getting the overs in with the bat and with the ball. So yeah, what do you make of those two selections? I mean, as I say, it's a
yeah.
massive opportunity for the pair of them.
Yeah, look at Jordan Cox. I think he probably wasn't he probably wasn't someone which any kind of observer had seriously linked with the number three role. They're probably more penciled in for like the middle order kind of role. But you look at his record. He's opened a fair amount for Kent in first class cricket. I think something like 30 times in first class cricket. He's got a first class double hundred opening the batting as well. He bats four for Essex. So so it's the role he's been given isn't exactly kind of outside of his skill set or experience. So it's a role that he is capable of doing. Although some observers, such as Steve James in the Times, have kind of observed that there may be technical issues regarding his lack of footwork at times, especially against the moving ball early on. Um, but he's a very strong-minded character. He's not afraid to kind of take the game on. He's got a very good first-class record. I think he averages 65 in first-class cricket for Essex since he's moved there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
What a move it's been for him.
so he's earned his chance, and he's had appalling luck with injuries and that. So
Yeah.
there's a sense of karma in this as well. The fact that Bethel's made way for him through injury, because by rights he should have been playing in that New Zealand series. Was it 2 years ago? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and and keep him there, and he may well have had like 20, 30 tests by now. And Jamie Smith might never have played. Might not even be in the in a consideration, or might not be the permanent member of the team that he is now.
Or certainly,
So
or not the keeper.
exactly. So I think, although I did, it kind of came slightly from left field because because no one's really talked about him in that position. I think it does make sense in many respects, because you look around the rest of the order, 4 and 5 are not going to move. Seven's kind of locked in. Duckett and Gay are kind of locked in for the rest of the series, at least. Well, Gay is locked in for the rest of the series. Duckett is locked in longer term. So the only spot left was at 3. So, and be someone with top order experience. So it kind of makes sense in a way. I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
there might be others out there who kind of looking at it and I think others might have looked at and thought maybe had more of a case, but as you say, you can't argue with his record over first class cricket last couple of years. And Dan Lawrence had an outstanding year in first class cricket this year. It's 5 first class hundreds this season.
yeah, it's mental, isn't it? Every time I refresh ESPN Crick Info,
Yeah.
or it's actually sorry, it's just Crick Info now, isn't it? Every time I click on Crick Info, it's Dan Lawrence, high scores, tons, wickets. Yeah, he's yeah, fair play. He's really taking his chance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone kind of had him penciled in to replace Stokes as an all-rounder, but
No,
I think
no.
that was slightly surprising. But I mean, his off spin is slightly underrated, but it's not anything that's going to kind of rip through a side. I think it's a more kind of handy kind of part-time option than someone you pick as your first choice spinner. I mean, his bowling is probably going to be limited to kind of filling in overs between like overs 40 to the new ball. So if they can get like 10 to 15 overs out of him in that time frame, I think that's where his role with the ball is going to be. Including like the obligatory over before lunch and all
Yeah,
that kind
well,
of
I think
thing.
if
And
he gets some
yeah,
bonus wickets, I think they'll
yeah,
I think they'll snap their
exactly.
hand off, for a couple of them.
Yeah. So, and I think he was probably a little bit unfortunate after his first kind of go at Test cricket. Or was it? I think it's the end of the Joe Root era,
Yeah,
2022. He did all right out in the West Indies. I think he got injured somehow and kind of lost his place. I think, did he lose his place to Harry Brook or something? Because Harry Brook, or something along those lines, I believe it was. Um, and then, he got chucked in the deep end to open the batting against Sri Lanka. And that was just farcical
yeah,
by the end. And he was just, so, but he's kind of gone away. He's worked hard. He's scored a mountain load of runs. So this year, and I think he had a pretty good year last year as well. So I think he's earned his chance. And in the absence of someone like Sam Curran, who can kind
mm,
of like fit in the middle order and kind of bowl regular overs, he's a reasonable option in there. I mean, he probably gets he's good, probably good enough to be in there as a top 6 batter as well. I mean, he's shown glimpses at Test level. Um, but I think it's a good positive selection in many ways. Um, be interesting to see what happens once Sam Curran becomes available, because they're talking about him possibly for the third test as well. Because
Yeah,
Marcus
that's
North
right. Yeah, yeah,
was very positive about him kind of filling that role, and that like kind of maybe batting seven or something like that, and then kind of being that fourth seamer. So, but yeah, in terms of what the resources that they've got available, I mean, it's yeah, fair play. As say, he's earned his chance, and I sincerely hope that he takes it. So yeah.
yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, very exciting selection to set in my eyes. I think don't be wrong. I think we've raved rightly about Jacob Bethel, but I think Jordan Cox at three. I think for me it would be if Cox has a really good series. I think. I mean, why change it? Like, I think Bethel would he'd be the one who have to wait his chance. And that's how it should be really. So, but it's
Mhm.
all on Cox now to take his chance, which unfortunately hasn't quite been able to do it at the moment in all formats for England at the moment. So, but he's still got a long sort of obviously career ahead of him. So, but we wish him well. Let's talk about the visitors, Pakistan. As we said at the top of the video, a very mercurial team, but saying that they've been predictably losing a lot of Test matches. That I think out of the last, I think 18 or so, I think they've lost 13. I mean that's a heck of a lot. I mean both teams are like quite low in the World Test Championship at the moment, so it's two out of form teams going at it, and both in transition as well. So with a new leadership in terms of captain, and obviously England, we've changed our coach, who's not actually not in charge for this series, and then Pakistan, they keep changing their Test coaches every game. It seems like it's hilarious, really. So, but yes, as you said earlier, they won their last test against West Indies to draw the series. They beat the County 11 in the warm up last week. But yeah, they've still got some fabulous players. I mean, the skipper himself, Barbara Azam, is a wonderful player. Um, yeah, his average when he's the skipper is a joke compared to when he's back in the ranks. So he's definitely obviously one to watch out for. And yeah, they've got Rizwan, the keeper, and Shaquille, um, Imam Ul Haq, the opener as well. So they've got some steady batting, haven't they? Pretty good batting. And then their bowling, obviously they got the genius, especially in the English conditions, of Mohamed Abbas. So, uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, obviously they don't have the obviously I don't think they have any huge bowl in terms of express pace like they did. They always seem to spring them out of on a regular basis. But I think the ones who are the quick bowlers, they play more like franchise cricket, like Harris Ralph, for example. So, but it was just to say with obviously when Mohamed Abbas is bowling, in England's kryptonite over the past year or so has been bowlers of a slowish speed, medium pace style, and then bowling with the keeper up. I
Yeah.
mean, and then they've got to work it out because Mohamed Abbas gets it on online, which he usually does. He loves bowling in England, doesn't he? I mean, they especially this first test. I think if England get off to a slow start, which I think they're more than capable of getting off to a slow start, and you only need to be bowled out cheaply once in a test match to lose. So yeah, what would you make of Pakistan's chances in the series?
Um, yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, they won their last test match against the West Indies, against a somewhat resurgent West Indies side as well, who kind of had a pretty good summer. Um, so they've won their last test, and I think they've got some players in form. I mean, you say you mentioned a few players in their batting lineup there, and you could also chuck in the likes of Abdullah Shafiq, who's now got a big 100 in the last
Yeah,
test match in the West Indies. And
160, I think you got.
exactly, yeah. So he's got a good test record, to be fair. Then you look at there's a young opener, Azan Awais, I think it is.
Mm.
There's a lot. He's got a lot of potential, good first class record, and he's shown some signs of promise. So, and I think they've got quite a decent batting lineup. Obviously, Baba, I think, is somewhat of an injury doubt for that first test, um,
Yeah,
due
yeah,
for an injury picked up in the PCC game. But
yeah.
if you look at someone like Sal Chakil, kind of really good player. I mean, some doubts about his away record, but good player. Rizwan, quality player. He's got experience of English conditions and, very good test record, excellent keeper. Um, so yeah, so then you say Imam, solid opener. Then even like someone like Shan Masood as well, a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
I
experience in
forgot
county
about
conditions.
yeah,
He
yeah.
got 100 in his last test, the last test match he played before I think he broke a hand or something, or broke a finger or something like that
Hmm.
in the same game. He may be coming back in, but I think Shafiq come in for him and scored a big 100 as well. So how they're going to balance that should be interesting. Although if Baba's not available, then Masood, if he's fit, probably comes straight back in
Yeah,
for Baba. And ironically, the guy that Baba replaced as
yeah.
captain
That's
as
it. Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think they're a solid side, as you say, with someone like Mohamed Abbas in English conditions. I think he's got one of the lowest averages. He's got a better average than Wazim and Waka, and
yeah,
something
yeah.
100 wickets. I mean, he averages is it about 20 or 21? He
Oh, it's
averages for the
just a
ball.
joke, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and because he kind of only runs in and dobs it about 75 to 80 mile an hour,
Nah, but he
he's
moves
kind
the
of he's
it moves the ball, doesn't he?
yeah, he's seen as
Yeah.
unglamorous, kind of a bit of like a workhorse kind of bowler. But
He's highly
you know,
skilled. Highly
he's
skilled.
yeah, highly skilled indeed. It's kind of like a more kind of modern day kind of Vernon Philander kind of bowler,
No,
just kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
that control and just move it each way. He's really going to test the temperament and the techniques of the English top order, and especially someone
yeah.
like Harry Brook. How is he going to approach that?
Especially with Rizwan standing up.
Yeah, yeah. So you get them pinned back in their crease, and suddenly the LBW comes into to play as well. And so Harry Brook needs to come up with a way of dealing with that. I mean, you look outside of Mohamed Abbas, there's not a lot of proven red ball bowling talent there. I mean, I don't think Shaheen Afridi's in the
No,
squad, is he?
no,
So,
he's not. No,
um,
Sajid Khan's in the squad, the spinner. He come in on that. I think it was the test, the infamous one on the last tour, England tour, with
yeah,
the industrial fans and stuff. I swear it was him and Norman Ali. Is it the other spinner?
Noman, yeah,
Norman.
yeah. Noman Ali's signed a
Yeah,
contract to play for Lancashire for the last 6 games, so he's going to be knocking around if suddenly the pitches start
yeah,
going square.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah. But yeah, Sajid Khan, he's been a regular in the last few games anyway. He's played against Bangladesh, West Indies, played in that county 11 friendly. So I imagine he'll be a spinner. He seems a quality
yeah,
operator. So yeah, especially with the dry pitches in this summer in England, I think he could get something out of it. So yeah, I mean I think as we said, I think this will be a tougher series than we a lot of people would have thought a few weeks ago at the start of the summer. And I think this first test at Headingley, I mean, if England can get off to a reasonable start, and I think I would back us to win all three tests. But I mean, the last time England players or majority of them played their first international match after the 100, obviously was last year in the one dayer against South Africa, and we got bowled out for 130, 131. That's a nice different format, but
yeah.
honestly, if we get off to a sluggish start and say Mohamed Abbas has got it on the string and Sajid Khan starts ripping it square, I mean I mean if we don't sort out a situation with Mohamed Abbas, with keeper up and etc. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a surprise if England get off to a bad start and then we lose this first test. I obviously hope we don't, but it wouldn't be a beyond reality. I think.
Yeah, you can kind of see it kind of real because a lot of the England side they've been playing the 100 well, the large majority of them have been playing 100 for the past few weeks, so they've been playing white ball cricket, and they're not in the rhythms of playing a red ball innings or bowling longer spells and all that. So they've got to
Yeah,
try and
being
get
in the
those kind
field
of
as well.
loads. Yeah. So it's entirely plausible that they may struggle a bit in the first game, but then kind of find their rhythm in game two and three at the back end. I mean, is but as you say, you don't really want to be kind of chasing the series after
No.
you started slowly. So um, we'll say that's going to be the big concern. I mean, you look at both teams on paper, you'd say that England has the better bowling attack, and so because of that, I would make England favourites, but
Yeah.
Pakistan could quite easily nick a game, and I'll if they're going to nick one, it's probably going to be that first test,
Yeah.
just because England are slightly ring rusty when it comes to the red ball game because I haven't really played it for. Has it been a couple of months now? Is it since the last test? Or is it 6 weeks,
God,
6 weeks,
feels
7
like a
months?
lifetime ago, mate.
Yeah,
But yeah, five,
yeah,
was it 5, 6 weeks? Yeah, something like that.
yeah. And because they've been playing like the 100, so imagine it's probably going to take a little bit of time to readjust. I mean, you can have as many nets as you like, kind of facing the red ball and that kind of thing. That doesn't replace kind of the intensity of a match situation and things like that. So, um, yeah, so I would say it's probably 50-50 for that first test. So if England can get off to a solid start in that first innings, and then
Yeah.
at least then they may settle in and kind of, and it might go according to plan. But as you say, if they get inserted and they kind of lose a few early, then then it could become interesting. And then some of the old kind of doubts and the kind of like the knives will be starting to come out again. So it's I'll still back England to win, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit closer than the what we usually should be.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think England did a favourites, obviously playing at home, but yeah, I think be a tighter series than a lot of us imagined. As I say, a few weeks ago. Right, so prediction time. I'm going to go England to win the series. Yeah, I actually think Pakistan will win this first test for the reasons we've said. But I think I bet England to turn it around and win 2-1. So what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm probably going to agree with you. There's just a feeling about this first test that England are going to be just a little ring rusty, and Pakistan are just going to nick it. But then England will hit their straps kind of in games two and three to take it 2-1. So yeah, I'm going to go England 2-1. Kind of like comeback win.
All right, great. Okay, well, the second test at Lords and the third test at Edgbaston. So, yeah, we'll see how England get on in this series. So, all right, well, thanks, Kat, and yeah, let's hope for a good
Pleasure.
series.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All hail the King, Joe Root. So it's the new old era. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, definitely have to iron his blazer. All right,
It
well,
probably smells a bit.
yeah. All right, well, thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know your predictions in the comments below. It'd be great to read those, and we'll see you soon. And bye for now.
Cheers up.